respectiveness, but there's the carry potential Ulk you were maybe looking for in a meta that's been dominated by tanks, even for our best players. And Bessa has stood as one of those crown jewels, and 369 has himself a very favorable lane in Game 1 for Top Esports.
Should be able to dive very easily. I wonder what the mid lane matchup here for Knight is. You could go for Annie, or sorry, you could go for the Ryze versus the Annie matchup. Will mean that early on you can kind of combat her for a push until she gets level 6, but instead we're going to go for the Orianna. So I see this, and honestly, this is probably going to be the composition that we have here in game number 1 that's going to require the most amount of poise here from Bilibili Gaming. They're going to need to be able to take control of space. That's what Alistar and the Wukong will be able to do later on into the game, but they get very easily dove upon if they're out of position. If we're talking about vision control, if we're talking about how aggressive Top Esports can play, you're going to have an Annie, a Jarvan, and an Mbessa who are going to be going straight for the back line. So Knight's going to have to be very careful about when he uses his flash, and how this bottom lane matchup goes could end up spelling success or failure here for BLG.
And speaking on that bottom lane matchup a bit more here, one of the things that you heard the devs talk about, let's bring in our final upper bracket final Jayos of the entire split here. Game 1 Top Esports BLG.
Okay, I think the playoffs versus JDG. I feel like Beitron has felt he's a little bit more empowered in this composition, that he can have a little bit more say. That right there is a great excuse to leech experience from the top laner.
Oh, flash Kanavi into the Cataclysm. There is no world where Knight gets out of there. Kanavi, elite precision. Kanavi has it mapped out. There is a ward in that Drake pit, so all this information towards Kanavi as they secure the 3 grubs for that later first Drake. I know it's been a trend in the LPL. We're kind of used to these first Drakes coming later, but it still is such a win for Kanavi this late in the early game to be able to trade the 3 grubs for just 1 first Drake.
It's important also that Corki is going to be alone in this top side safely, because all Rel has been doing has been dropping experience. We'll actually see that represented in our 2 supports coming into this play. Is on, if he gets access to all this is let's walk around mid, we get to stop Knight's back.
No flash, Cataclysm down, TP coming over, Shockwave use, Knight trying to buy himself some time. There's the Magnet Storm layered as well. Hog trying to lock down the golden left hand, and with Tibbers, he will fall for a second time in a row. Going through the motions here behind their split 1 MVP jungler Kanavi, and they will shut down that Dragon Stack win con. So Kanavi grabs the first 3 grubs to give TES agency to get more gold, and now he evens up the Drake count. This game flowing all...
Maybe they can make play on the 369.
Paul Execution is going to end up tagging the Scion. Flash comes out, but All's going to flash right on top of him, and Elk with the killer instinct comes through and gets BLG on the board as they try and claw back in that gold deficit.
It's Herald, but there's a wave that they missed out on top side. The rest of this is going to go over to Elk. Let's look at Cream. I hope our observers show this. A little late now, but that is going to be first turret going over to... This is really exploitative coming out from Top Esports. And Jackie Love.
Oh, Jackie Love. He's got to burn his summoners. Quick cycle comes through. Killer instinct through. Elk doesn't need summoners to pick up that kill. The power of the Kaisa shows, and Jackie Love is punished for 1. Looking to change here. As TS are forcing their way into this bottom river. BLG already trying to conquer the challenge of this Infernal Drake. When does TES pull the trigger? Kanavi gonna go for the flag and drag, gets the knockup Cataclysm, and they've completely stun-locked Knight. He flashes, but still ends up falling, and Bid's next to drop as well. BLG get the dragon, but they pay the price with their 2 solo lanes, and they are adding on it. On goes down as well to Jackie Love, the Cyclone over the wall. 369 trying to dive after the last 2 kills, but he doesn't need to chase them down. They've already feasted on Bilibili Gaming.
He was ready to fight, and we biffed that as
ready to fight. They're going after Kanavi. Cyclone down as well. Shockwave landed. Kanavi is cut through. Split 1 MVP sent to the gray screen. How much more can Bilibili get off it? With Knockup City, they surely can find themselves a double. And that double goes back to the golden left hand we've been so critical of so far.
Either side. Which
we don't have time because we're just fighting. There's a molten pit under Beitron and on. And we see TS answer right back with their own combo for a 2-piece.
I was going to say, there was a level and a half difference between Beitron and Kanavi. Beitron had been doing a fantastic job here in this game.
Oh, Jackie Love caught the MVP of Split 3, cut down by Elk, and he flashes over Hogs, stunned as well. LPL Kaisa impressing as always, but they're going to dive under the tier 2 turret. He gets away from Hogs engaged with a flag and drag. Is more than enough to knock down Elk. And it looks like Ben is just a little bit too late to arrive to the party with Grubs. TS are going to knock down a mid-tier 1 turret. Now they're going to take a look at Knight, who is thankful for that blast code.
A little pressure to start the fight. Sion's going to come on through. They
Stop
want Cream.
Good flash. Cream gets over the wall now. Ben's a bit out of position with a high health bar, but look at Jackie Love. He's sectioned off away from the rest of the team. So right now, TS don't have a lot of punch behind their kits. But Jackie Love is able to creep his way back up. The rest of TES bring the line back forward. We start dancing around the mid lane. I'm going to look for the first engage onto Kanavi. Gets chunked out very, very low with the Magnet Storm. Turn comes out from Hog. And it is absolutely glorious into the Cataclysm dunk down. Elk's gone. On's joining him. Maybe all of BLG will go down. Hog just gapped Bilibili, and he's going to send them home. 4 kills to nothing.
Wow, that should have been a good spot for BLG. They got the flash out from Cream, but On, not respecting or maybe not knowing what his job needs to be, is stop Hong from engaging. There's too many different angles. If he's stopping the Rel, he's not stopping Kanavi. He's not stopping 369.
Timber's
gonna make it happen again. He's gonna teleport all the way back to his base, but Top Esports are gonna find 3 kills. They're gonna get Knight's flash, and it's gonna be a Baron on top of the play.
Get me a replay ASAP, because we just watched some of the finest league combos you've seen all playoffs long. But it's the Baron that's the real prize here.
Terrific performance from our mid lane MVP. Knight, a legendary player in his own right for what he's done in recent years in modern history, but looks like 369.
Health bar going low. Elk and a killer instinct forward to get the kill. Dunk down comes across from Kanavi, and Elk is trapped with no flash, and Creep TP's in to find the kill. We have action happening all over the map. Jackie Love is picked off in the mid lane, but luckily the rest of TES are going to pull him and the squad up by their bootstraps.
Calls in. Can they enter?
It's a dark, dark world in that river, but as they get light on the Baron, is way below half HP, and they're trying to mark Kanavi, who does flag and drag on top of Knight, drops the Cataclysm, but it's onto both the takes. He's trying to lock on and bin in place, but the Baron is going to be finished off here by Baitchwan. Fight breaks out, Cyclone down, 369 trying to fly after the carries. On's going to sacrifice himself first with the Trickster. Baitchwan gets out of the pit, so Billy, well, we talked about how many turrets TES had in favor. That's standing gold for Bilibili Gaming to pick up on the swing, so they get all the tier 1 turrets off the board. They're now trying to threaten in the exact mirrored spot that we saw TES have just a couple minutes ago, hitting on to an opposite side tier 2 turret. And unlike earlier for TES, Bilibili Gaming are strong enough to knock it down and look for more.
They can continue to go. This is the team that doesn't have 3 grubs. This is the team that lost feats of strength. BLG may have just found Hong.
Hong looking for the engage, just try and buy himself some space. On with the Unbreakable Will is very, very tanky. Both redemptions drop. Shockwave hits onto Cream, and in goes 369. Trying to find these backline targets. The Cataclysm doesn't matter this time, because Elk gets the free hit and burn through Top Esports.
No one can deal with these tanks. It's supposed to be Cream, but he doesn't have the magic penetration to do so. Jackie Love, even with all of this true damage, even with all of this armor shred, cannot hit through tanks. This might be the end here for BLG. They've got another minion wave and still Baron at their backs.
Bilibili Gaming, we're down and out all through this game 1, but if you don't kill them now, they will make you rue the day as they look for this final push that's helped out by the fact they've knocked down Hong for another 40 seconds. It's Garib trying to clear out the way, but it's a jump on from Elk, finds the first kill. Void Seeker over, they're flashing after Jackie Love as he desperately kites into his fountain. Next wave comes up for Top Esports, and it's Knight to find the shockwave into the golden stasis to put a golden stamp of approval on BLG's comeback game 1 win.
Who needs an early
bottom lane?
Game number 2, by the way, and we're getting the karma immediately. Something our Des was talking about is where and when we were going to get this karma pick as one of the few enchanters that these two players do share between each other. So Ezreal Karma going for more poke. I am a little worried here, Slayer. I don't think that Top Esports will have enough damage to get to this Sivir, and barring some massive team fight flub, maybe if Top Esports can utilize the champions that can ignore the front line and get right into the heart, into the meat of things, I think what BLG are showing, they need to play a little bit fast. They have the tools to be able to pick out certain members. I think on 2 and 3 items, Top Esports are really, really dangerous. So if this game goes late, I feel like BLG can start to feel a little bit more comfortable about themselves.
Is it Groundhog Day? I feel like I heard this exact same spiel from a Top Esports draft, maybe an hour ago.
Maybe.
Sounds pretty similar, but on the BLG side, like you talk about, ton of scale threat for our mainly player of the game from game 1 in Elk. It is, coasted on easy play. Game 2, top esports, Bilibili Gaming.
Awesome.
You called it off.
Fans are showing up. Yeah, they said game 1 was entertaining enough. It's not going to be a 3-0, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Maybe a level 1 here. They have some pretty strong champions damage because for Elk, he's just scaling. He's like, okay, cool. I'm maybe down 10 CS, and I'm still going to be relevant later on.
Oh, I've seen this story play out before. Night between worlds, there's a no world where you survive this mid-gank. Again, Kanavi finding first blood onto the golden left hand of BLG, back-to-back games.
It seems to be very, very well coordinated here for TES because they're giving up golden experience to this Sivir. All the while, Jackie Love just has to clear this mid-wave. I think this is an advantageous trade here for BLG, and they might even get the Dragon on top of this Slayer.
And this is what we talk about when we mention the Bilibili Gaming evolution. Maybe do so. And you pointed it out so eloquently. You get a plate, you get solo XP waves on Elk, and they will get that Dragon as a trade. So yeah, 3 grubs stink.
Fully stacked Muramana and Trinity Force for Jackie Love, and same here for Cream.
Alk, I'm holding the LPL script, like the whole season script here.
That says DMV on it. You're lying.
I'm holding the script here, and I'm confused. Like, am I just reading game 1 compared to that game 1? Maybe we'll be at this Rift Herald. The Kanavi is starting up alongside 369. TP's coming through for Bin. They can have Knight walk down as well. The Eye gonna get punched out here. Could it be a 50-50? Bin doesn't want it that way. He's going to pop the Dominus and try and brute force CS up. But Kanavi, with that Pantheon passive, gets the Rift Herald. But now he's getting stun locked in place. Bin, though, has to dash back out of the Dominus. Between Worlds comes across for Knight. Tries to dash down towards the backside of the fight. As On sends himself in. But Elk doesn't have enough damage and comfortability to step up. Beichuan's going to pick up the Eye. And On, with Flash, going to have to get out over the pit. Beichuan... Well, maybe we'll see some return to skirmishing on the top side. There's the Grand Starfall through for Kanavi. Stun locked and no flash on Bin. Kanavi finally finds a pick with that global ultimate, and here comes another one. Cream gonna realm warp right on top of On, who does a good job to stun land the solar flare. But On, this turret is lying to you. This is not a safe haven. This is a warning mark, and he's going to use that Zenith Blade to try and jump onto 369, abandons the turret, and he's going to have to abandon his health bar as well. TES find the picks, but just like game 1, Jackie Love is picked off as the return for BLG.
Don't think it matters, though. Teleport's going to go down towards bottom side, so 369 is going to pick up this wave. Top Esports with 3 grubs and a Herald will grab 2 turrets in trade. BLG will finally take down this mid-tier 1. And now Slayer, with all of the gold and finally some action here from Top East, closer to level 15, level 16 at that point. Maybe with an Otacon, he actually gets to that 3rd point in his ultimate ability, gets more damage onto his overload stacks. And with all of the focus on the...
He doesn't have time for it all.
They're not going to be able to go in here. There's all summoner spells and the ultimate here available for On. 369 could kidnap a single member.
Resistance is being shred by Kanavi and company. Bin gets chunked out of the fight, though, on the top side, 50-50, and this time Beichuan wins it, steals away the Octagon, and now they're feeling cocky, trying to run down TES, but Beichuan's going to hold his horses. Jackie Love pretty far chunked out. Bin's going to lose access to this Dominus, and BLG again use the Realm Warp to go the other side of the Between Worlds. Knight, Redemption's going to come down here for some extra damage, but Cream can't close the gap, but guess who can? The Stars falling on top.
About a 3,500 gold lead here.
Jackie Love not again.
Love, no.
He's been so mistake-prone in this series so far. He's got a flash, use the Arcane Shift, and use Kanavi to try and bodyguard. Ben, he's going to try and find an angle onto this Ezreal, but Jackie Love does get himself out. He has no mana, though. He is virtually out of this fight, and Ben is running amok in this backside. Enchanter down, flashes on top of Jackie Love. What a Call of the Meek there from Ben, showing why he is one of the premier top laners the LPL has to offer.
There we go. That's a blue buff given over them, and do they start up this objective? There is no ability for Kanavi to slide on through into the back line. He has a flash. He can use the Hextech portal, but this is just going to be the Baron going over to BLG. Jackie Love gets caught yet again. Way too much damage, and Beichuan on this Trundle. We're going to see Top Esports re-enter.
They don't have Grand Starfall, there's no Realm Warp, and they don't have the numbers to fight here. Cream already having to flash away from Bin, trying to kite back desperately, but he has all the damage. 369 goes all out, but he is all done for with all those resistances shred. It's a stall game coming out here from Top Esports. They've done a good job pulling BLG away from this Baron pit, but if they lose Kanavi, the turn back will be even sweeter towards the purple worm, and they'll do just that. Kanavi and 369 trade out places with Jackie Love and Hong getting picked off earlier.
All right, mid-wave, it means no Baron. BLG have spent too much time chasing these members around the map, and a massive mistake yet again for Top Esports. This time, they at least are the ones with the Dragon Soul in their back pockets. A teleport here from Bin.
Hexgate 2.
Guardian Angel.
Oh, and Dominus. This is a big bad croc, but they gotta deal with the troll with a club first. Hong spawned back in and gets sent back out, expedited shipping. And now BLG turn towards the Baron again. Kanavi up at 10 seconds with the Grand Starfall. Cream still present here, but 369 has to run his way all the way back over. And this time, third time's going to be the charm. Billy Gaming wearing purple on all 5 members.
Now, BLG, we have to fix these side lanes right now. We have a Dragon Squad has dubbed as the MVP for split number 3. BLG will be able to grab their second Dragon of the game and at least deny Top Esports from grabbing a Hextech Soul.
Royalty in Jackie Love as well is, we're not even gonna... It was a big topic that we had before all those big Barons. Okay, hold on. They're going after Elk here, and they might finally have him. Good McHale's, though. Elk gets himself out, but Kanavi wants to flash after him. That desperation coming through again. He has his GA, but he doesn't have Elk. They instead get on. Between Worlds comes across from Knight and Bin. Look at him holding all of TES at bay here. Creep tries to focus all of his attention, but it's actually Jackie Love that's able to layer some pretty good damage. Down goes Bejuan. Elk steps back up, and they're trying to burn through that healthy bar from 369, but it's not enough. Finally, the 5-man full court press finds itself some more gold.
There it is. It's going to be mid-tier 1, and a fight that was so close to going towards BLG ends up falling towards Top Esports. It is going to be Jackie Love, Cream, and Hong alongside Kanavi all losing their flash, but you will take it with how the way this game has been going, away this on some of these champions. I mean, still no flash for the next 30 seconds.
Okay, Cream. Don't know what that Realm Warp was supposed to be.
It was a bait. He was like, okay, maybe they'll just send it in on the Realm Warp here.
Yeah, instead BLG smack away the hook with the bait on it and say thank you very much. It does push them off the Baron. BLG really trying to force this down. Jackie Love can eat a Zenith Blade. Good arcade shift back though, and boy, Alden is getting punched down by Jackie Love. Knight's gonna try and go after him next as the Grand Starfall falls onto the back line. Where is Elk? Him and Knight are cowling away from the team here as the GA gets popped by Bin. Respawns back up. Jackie Love, though, is just layering all these Mystic shots. Sure, Knight, you go into your stasis, but Jackie Love says, Knight, you can pick me off once, but I'm making it a problem for the rest of this game.
Fight for MVP. The fight for who is really the crown prince of Top Esports. Knight growing up on this academy team. Jackie Love now.
Oh, he's still just so confident, playing right on the edge of his range. Baron secured, Bin on the backside of this fight, doesn't have any dominance. Kanavi's going right after Elk. Good spell shield comes down, but Bejuan falls first. Elk, how good can you kite back here? Trying to buy some space. Kanavi gets knocked out of his jump. Elk, though, is going to get knocked down by Jackie Love again, who finds his revenge and is scaled back into prime form when TES needed it most.
Even gets a heal off of that McHale's. Bin not able to cancel the recalls here. Maybe he finds this kill onto Hong. He's going to get double teleports from Top Esports.
Run, Bin, run! All right, that Solar Flare is pretty clutch, but here's a Realm Warp. Oh, Cream, he's going to take it this time. 3 members, Rune Prism, Bin, no GA to save you, and Cream is going to chase him down with the power of the Mantra Karma, and he wants Knight's name too, forcing a flash trade, and they're bringing the Baron Wave right knocking on the door of BLG's base.
This is game number 2 going over to Top Esports. Iffy midsection there, but Top Esports get it done in the end, and Cream really stands tall alongside his AD.
Oh, Knight goes after Hong, but he'll happily sacrifice himself. Knight's trying to pull away the wave from the turret here alongside On. Bejuan is respawned. That redemption is pretty clutch, but Jackie Love has his eyes set on an even series, and there's nothing BLG can do to stop him. The LPL Split 3 MVP evens our series up at 1 apiece.
That's what I like to see, man.
There we go. Slam Cream out of lane here with this pick.
Tristana's going to give him a lot of access in the mid lane. Could this be Silas Jungle here for Kanavi? Kanavi has been a big carry player. We didn't even think about this being a flex. We were so focused on Cream. This could be the counter here, and remember, Cream is the melee specialist. We're getting Yasuo here for Cream. All right, let's get some knockups. Let's try to see the early laning phase. And now, can BLG beat Top Esports in what I feel is the most TES draft we have seen so far in the playoffs?
They've pulled off a heist here, Alk. They've led BLG astray, and they have caught Knight sleeping, expecting this Silas matchup. What a time for Cream to lean into his melee maestro self with this Yasuo. What a draft. But I do want to ask you, one specifying question before this game goes live. Alk, you talked about where Varus is as a champion right now. Seeing this draft from TES, what is your comfort meter on an on-hit route here for Elk? Because I just don't see found Yasuo. That was one of the last few times I saw them. Remember, that Thundertalk team actually beat BLG in a best of 5. It's so funny to reminisce back on there. But let's give the stage to the Jayos. The fans are getting louder, the flags are flying higher, and in the center stage you saw of that fan cam, Top Esports, who feel like they have regained momentum and maybe give themselves a bit of a draft gap here. They definitely win the Spicy Award with Cream and Cycle, but still a moral and gold victory, and now Beichuan is expecting Kanavi to run away. He actually flashes back over him, Miscondom ducked, and Kanavi just gapping.
He's gonna catch this wave. He is still staying. He is playing so much respect. No vision from Top Esports or from BLG. As soon as this dragon goes into the announcement, imagine he'll pick that up. But that was a lot of golden experience that Elk lost.
Dragons into more minions for Jackie Love. They can be a lot more comfortable compared to the last 2 games where we asked a lot of them in this phase.
Very important here that BLG get a majority of these grubs. Tristana in a side lane is going to be very, very difficult for Top Esports to deal with. That is those 2 grubs going over. Very fine trade here. As this game goes on, I think the one X factor always have to be looking towards is Tristana. The bunch of shields should be fine.
Kanavi has a stolen and a buster shot and gets the 2-man knockup. See you later, Knight. Kanavi still giving nightmares to the golden left hand.
Exhaust goes on to Kanavi, but that's the wrong target. Should be on to Yasuo. By this point, the play's already over. Elk is
dead. All right, we have 2v2s finally burying
now because he got this. Maybe they make a play on tonight.
Kanavi, he's just everywhere, making plays top lane, mid lane, but the buster shot doesn't interrupt the Ord Horde, and it's singing the demise of Knight. Another game where Knight is routinely caught out 3 games in a row, but now it's BLG's turn to make a response, diving onto Cream, depth charge into that Soul Shackle, more than enough damage to get it done. Clean. Are they getting antsy, knowing they weren't able to make much out of those TPs? Not for now. All they're eating is Dark Bindings. Dredgeline lands on top of 369 as well. Hong trying to kite back safely, but Elk's able to get the Chains of Corruption down. Good unstoppable to interrupt them, and Jackie Love's going to turn his head towards Elk. Here comes the Hex Gates, though. Kanavi going on top of 3. Has the Chains of Corruption stolen around. Kanavi is mogging 3 members of Bilibili Gaming, and there's nothing they can do about it. Beichuan falls again. Hong finds himself the charm, the knockup, and the last breath down. Kanavi is in good today. Give him a triple kill. TS running wild with this game 3.
It is 14 minutes. He has 10 stacks and a fully completed Proto Belt here. Rocket Belt coming on through. That teleport from Top Esports, it forces more. This might just be a Quadra here.
He wants more.
Not able to
state right now. Kanavi making all the right moves, and he's not done. He's got a depth charge hijack. He's going to drop it on top of Knight as he eliminates his support. Double knockups land on a Knight. Hong makes it a triple. They're just throwing Knight into the air, bouncing him around, and he'll rocket jump himself back out, but Ben TPs himself into the meat grinder, instantly gets popped. Beichuan having to flash away from Kanavi and Hong again. This is TES in their prime, showing why they were the top seed out of Group Ascend, threatening to go back to a 2nd LPL final.
TES didn't even teleport Cream over there. He couldn't move. Transitioning early game leads into mid-game advantages. We are 16 minutes. I don't think we're allowed to fight this BLG. We are posturing and they can still engage.
Oh no. Scuttle Crab to set the engage. Where is the knockup? Where's the last breath? Hong isn't able to land it. Good equalizer as well to separate. Hong going to re-engage with the depth charge. Blast going to get bin forward. He's looking for the overheat. Pumping the damage on the Flame Spitter. And out CS on the back foot. Good knockup from the Dado on Cream. Hijacked. Equalizer going to come back down
Jackie!
into the feather. Pull back. Jackie Love sets them up. And Kanavi knocks them down again. Top Esports are just hitting harder, moving faster, and looking stronger. And there's nothing BLG can do to stop them.
The only reason this play went on as long as it did is because Kanavi got hit with a binding. This fight should have been over 5 minutes earlier with BLG losing even more. We are at 16 and a half minutes. This is our number 1 and number 3 seeds fighting, and Top Esports are a little too long, and if BLG were slightly even, wait, picture.
Hold on. It's another hijacked ultimate from guess who? Kanavi, sending more names back to the base than BLG can count. It's Kanavi with his 9th kill of the game, and BLG once again running away from the godlike man on Summoner's Rift. Bin doesn't even catch him as he has his stasis up. He's going to dash after him, dive under the turret. There's one, making a double. Only Elk's Shades of Corruptions can stop the madman Kanavi on this Rift.
Elk gets at least one, and that is a shutdown. Kanavi, I want to see if he respawns in 30 seconds. Does he still have a shutdown bounty? Because that would be impressive.
It's the same, this topside brush that BLG is so hesitant to walk into. Cream gets one knockup, but he goes all in with the last breath. Hall gets a double charm into the bouncy House of Doom. All BLG see is the sky and the gray screen as they make their fall back down. It's only Cream that ends up falling, but TES want more, but it's Kanavi with the flash, and of course, he finds Beitwan once again. Good buster shot back, but Knight, you can't even kill off Jackie Love. It's a rocket jump back out to safety. Only one morsel of a kill allowed to Bilibili.
He is 13-1. Beitwan, this is supposed to be your
upgrade,
little pocket pick that you pulled on through. The AI from JDG thinks this is an 81%. Hey, I'll give you an extra 9 right there for talking about Knight. This is a 90% win percentile coming on through for Top Esports. 21 minutes, Hextech Soul in 3, and almost at a 10,000.
How many people can this guy one-shot?
Kanavi just
He's
gets to do
face-checking
this.
3 people, and Beitwan, he doesn't think, oh, I see an engage. He's like, oh god, the devil is running at me faster than the speed of light, and somehow he gets onto Elk, goes to Redemption. The only reason to save him, Kanavi is ignoring all structures, all enemies. All he sees is red. All he sees is series points for Top Esports. And they might as well just look for the push damn near soon as they knock down an inhibitor at 22 minutes. Cream, though, has to throw up the wind wall as Knight and Bin are trying to push some damage back out. But look at the big tanky Ornn. Do not touch my mid laner.
Not even a single turret here taken by BLG. Oh my god, Kanavi!
Oh, Kanavi! They have families, man!
Every ultimate, by the way, is incredibly dangerous.
Oh no, you don't want to hook that guy on! Oh my lord, he turns the Chains of Corruption right back at BLG.
He's looking for it. Kanavi wants more.
He wants the full book. He wants the full book. All right, he's not going to get it on tonight. BLG, just let them leave. Adds even more fire to the fuel of that matchup as it seems to be growing more and more intensely as this series goes on. As we were talking about the stakes here for Top Esports, they went through some house cleaning measures towards the topside river, known as a little thing you like to call the Baron buff that was all but guaranteed to them by the mighty gold lead they're holding. And well, BLG, what can they do? Watch all of their structures fall? Well, they might just watch this game fall. Here's the waves brought up towards the Nexus turrets, and we just have to keep our eyes on the man, the myth, the legend, Kanavi, and when he decides to go in. This time it was 369 to start things off, and there's not much to say here. BLG are cowering in fear in their own fountain as they have watched their 1-0 lead in the upper bracket diminish, and they see themselves 1 game away from the loser's bracket, and Top Esports 1 game away from a second grand finals.
26-25-3. I have doubted that we have seen a bigger difference between what does 369 go with? Because from what we've got from Top Esports, this feels like a composition that is a mid-ranger. They want to keep you at bay. They want to make sure that they can try to whittle away at you. Maybe they find a pick with a Talia flick, things of the nature. Now with a Cho'Gath, that really feels like that identity is accentuated. You're going to have the Cho'Gath knockup alongside the Feast to not only deal with Yorick, but any other potential contenders. And for BLG, this is a composition that is so heavily gated around range. Not only just Renata and her kind of range to auto attack, but what can Knight do when you have a Renata and a Maokai at your back providing you with peel and assistance? This has to be another performance where we are looking either at Knight or at Elk to step up, and that has been the biggest question so far that has yet to been answered so far in this series.
And another big question that Alk Battery asked when he used his fortune teller presence to see the shadow pick coming through was, does the BLG fandom and their Jaios loudest as possible?
Bilibili fans, cheer for the faith. Make your voices heard, whether it is in Twitch chat or it is there in Shenzhen. The AI thinks that BLG... Kanavi says, I can't help anymore, guys. You're just going to have to either take a recall or suck it up, because I have an entire bot side quadrant that I still have to contest for. Seeing the picture-in-picture how those flashes were lost. It is On who's able to move, and Hong, I don't think you're going to be able to do too much here. So let's just get Kanavi is clear. Let's get towards that top side of the map.
Trying to go for the hero steal onto that scuttle, and now Shadow wants to look for that engage. He's got Elk in position. Hong, a head-scratching first blood. The first blood of this series, not claimed by Kanavi.
There we
Trying
go.
to set up here. Shadow going to finish off those Krugs, and Kanavi's still trying to play around with this fog. But he's not going to look for the bot lane angle. Instead, Shadow's going to be spotted in that tri-brush. Kanavi just trying to poke and make sure the dragon is there as Knight does dash forward, goes for the Emperor's Divide onto Cream, but Kanavi is here to cover for his mid laner. Again, as it's been all series long, Knight cannot buy a 1v1 against Cream early, and it may not have been first blood Alk, but it's the 4th game in a row that Kanavi has killed off Knight in the 2v1.
Maokai's gonna grab himself, or at least start up the dragon. They can move their bottom lane. Maybe Shadow gets pulled off of here, and they try to force JackeyLove to miss out on part of the wave. Really, really clean stuff. You see that BLG, they can even move forward here.
He's separated from On, but no
he got body blocked!
Holy moly,
The
minion block! JackeyLove has to flash. Looks like the minions even want BLG to go to game 5 here, and Shadow's trying to propel them further. The shield comes down just in time for the Ren to come through for Elk.
That is a disgusting BLG. Also falling. Usually Knight is pretty decent about being able to survive the ganks for the most part. JackeyLove getting traded upon.
Gonna get the handshake to pull him away from the turret. No, they can't get him out of the aggro, and Hogs in a snap engage. Elk takes a turret shot. Glacial Fissure gonna knock him up, and Elk and On overextend themselves, and just like that, their 2v2 lead explodes.
Cream can't even get here in time. Use the Weaver's Wall, has to go right back into mid lane. Nothing else that BLG can do to answer. It'll be another wave missed here. Elk and On losing summoner spells. Maybe incredibly stressed with how this is looking. Bin's dead.
Bin. Yep, sayonara. There's the Rupture knockup and Kanavi's 2nd kill. BLG, what? I mean, we were propping up this lead. We're like, all right, finally, maybe we can see someone else support. It's BLG, though, with the saplings and the vision that do have control of this Drake Pin. They're going to be able to start, but here comes the Weaver's Ball from Cream. Elk is sectioned off for the rest of the team, and the flick back lands On, and he uses the bailout just to buy time. 369 flashes himself back out of safety. Kanavi uses the ult to go right on top of Elk. Remember, he was pushed out of the fight, and now he's pushed back towards his fountain as Cream continues to land CC after CC, and BLG are falling one at a time. It's only Knight with the Emperor's Divide to find some form of salvation. But even that, salvation doesn't mean any kills. Those all go to top esports.
I love this pull and tug that we're getting from these two teams here. Not only have we talked about the interaction between our two top laners' ultimates, but really it is a game of chicken. Who is going to pull the trigger?
You throw Shadow at him, you throw Beijuan, it doesn't matter. The way this guy's playing, no one can stop him except maybe the defending champion jungler. It feels like he has a date with Destiny in as the culling drops through. Elk and On very low. It's got to be the redemption that sets up for the Rift Herald take. So Shadow gets the smite down. but getting the Rift Herald itself is a whole other challenge. Shadow, you cannot throw this game away for the Herald. It's the hostile takeover, sideways hit from On into the Emperor's Divide. Finally, Knight makes an impression on this series. Jackie Love and Cream are out of the fight. 369 looking for a feast, but he doesn't have enough damage. It's Kanavi to rescue one back, finds the kill on the Shadow, goes unstoppable. How much work can Kanavi do? No, he can't even find a trade kill. It's Knight again. Finally, the golden left hand brushes off the rust and saves BLG from the brink of destruction. It's best to learn from the pros themselves, and that's why we want to shout out once again our sponsor, ProDiff.gg. You can use 10%, get 10% off with LPL 10 to learn sweet moves like this on how to use a Rift Herald, set up for Octagon properly, and bring your solo queue rank up. As we see Hong look for the engage on to Shadow. A huge choke coming across here for BLG. Redemption going to be able to stave off a lot of the early damage from BLG.
Now we're in a spot.
On. Flick back. No hostile takeover. Picked off again, just like the big fight won for TES, and they want more. They're hungry, feasting to chomp down on BLG, and Shadow without flash is the next one to see a stone and a wolf pack hunt him over the wall.
Minute before this dragon spawns would be soul point here for top esports. Let's get this mid-tier 1. Let's use that demolish on 369. How will BLG be able to enter into Fog of War? There are no wards on this spawn.
20 minutes, a huge win con for them to get, but they are losing control rapidly of the river, and 369 is trapped in the play place. Gonna get the knockup, flash himself back out of safety, slippery stones, making sure nobody can fall 369, but the roots of the tree of Maokai follow. Hostile takeover, all of it to get 369. Kanavi goes in looking for the trade, cooling off to the side from Jackie Love, but none of the kills are coming through. Shadow's the first one to fall. Cream has to flash back, but Bin is hunting him down with the maiden. Kanavi's gonna re-engage though. Bin's gone too far forward, and Kanavi will not let him get away with it. Fate sealed, throws On into the next waiting arms, and Kanavi gets himself the triple kill. Kanavi looking for the highlight moment to end BLG's season, but Knight says, hell no! Bow down to the might of the gold left hand, and BLG!
3-0 triple kill for Elk here. He is putting spears into the back of Top Esports. That'll be the Dragon. Top Esports make a massive mistake on Jackie Love. No flash on Cream.
The Octagon below half HP. Guys, this replay isn't that worth it because the engage is coming out from BLG. Octagon aggro going to get dropped here. Hong trying to use a Glacial Fissure to buy some space. Bin has to flash over a seismic shove look from Cream. And Octagon has reset nearly to full HP. BLG still hurting from the resistances. This big bad buff drops off, but with the Rend available and that Rend smite, they feel like they have enough control to try and burn through it. Do TES want to gamble? Basically, this entire game, I'm looking for the Octagon. It's only Hong that's able to step up, thanks to a good cage. Kanavi can't get in. Hong steals the Octagon with the seal spellbook smite. How does he get away with that? Hong and Shadow very low, but it's Knight over the wall. Trying to throw Sand Soldiers, but he gets thrown up. Good stasis to get away from that flick back. Can Kanavi get in? No, the heals, the shields, they're too much. And Knight is done messing around in this series, and he wants blood paid back to him in full, and Kanavi will burn down. Knight has finally arrived to this series for BLG.
There it is, and that should be what feels like the nail in the coffin for this game number 4. BLG have constantly been pressing onto Top Esports. They've been getting all of their summoner spells, and even with Kanavi getting as close as he can, even with miracle steals from Hong.
Oh my god. Oh, he gets knocked up though. Chomp, bailout. See ya later, Elk. Again, pushing his lead and limits to fall
on BLG. They're going to start this up. Your Rends have to be true. Shadow, you have to be able to land this.
Have to be able to hit your smite key. They're going to try to trade the Baron for maybe Bin. Here comes Weaver's Wall. Kanavi's in the pit. Does he have another steal in him? No! Shadow finally secures this Baron. Gets the Rend down, and BLG have the Baron, but they're looking for more. They want to end this game now as Elk uses the Fate's Call to throw On in, and Elk is dipping, dashing, and dodging all around TES on their backline. Cream and Kanavi can't even find the kill on the Shadow, and they can't knock down Knight. The LPL English Split 3 MVP shows up in the witching hour. Ace to BLG. Bring on game 5. Bring me Silver Scrapes.
That's what we wanted to see, and there was no other way this series could have ended. It could not have been without a 3-0, a 3-1. It had to be 5 games for a spot in the grand finals. BLG have arrived. 7-1-7 for the man in the mid lane. Let's go ahead. Let's get that game number 5.
40 champions off the board. LPL finals. world's contention all on the line as we are tied up 2-2 in the upper bracket.
Let's get excited. Shadow, you deserve a grin on your face. There is nothing but drama. Culmination, Top Esports going for a pick composition. BLG are going to basically say, nope, we're going to stiff arm you away from your opponents. We're going to try to utilize our range with both the Swain and this Elise Caitlyn lane. Xin Zhao as well, that ultimate I think creates so many issues for Top Esports. We thought maybe they didn't have enough damage in game number 4. Well, now they're going to have an overwhelming amount. Up to Bin. Are we going to be going for, are we going to see finally the Aatrox, which we haven't seen since Split 1 and MSI, a single game played at MSI versus GAM? What is it going to be here for Bin?
I think it's a good look, but because it buys space and, like you mentioned, keeps them at arm's distance. But you know what else does that, Ulk? Bringing yourself into a 1v1 where you are heavily favored, and that is the mantra of this Mordekaiser, and that one will be locked in. I'm a huge Mordekaiser fan, and we are getting a Bin Mord game to try and force 1v1s and sustain through this pick comp from TES. Ulk, where are we feeling about this draft? Our final one of the upper bracket final.
Very explosive from Top Esports side, but it is going to be a composition that once it starts to stumble is going to continue to lose out, and they need to work quickly because Knight is going to have access to so much HP in this game. Imagine a Rod of Ages, maybe a Leandri's, a Riftmaker, things of this nature. They're going to give him a lot of HP and ability haste alongside maybe even a Bloodletter's Curse. So many options for Knight to be unkillable in this game. Xin Zhao is going to do the same. Mordekaiser is going to be a threat in this game. So what can Top Esports do? How early can we see them?
For a final time and bring in those Jayos. Oh, no.
Oh, we're getting a level 1.
Oh,
Slayer,
no.
it's game 5. Both teams have seen each other.
Guys, come on. It's game. Oh, no, it's game 5. And the hook harpoon lands, but a huge pullback comes across from Bin. That is first blood over to BLG. It's secured by Shadow, and the more passive value becomes huge, but another harpoon lands on it. Immediately flashes with the charm. Doesn't bring it back towards Storm, and it sets up the crit shot for Jackie Love, but a trade back lands on the Shadow. And if this series couldn't get any crazier, escapes death. Oh, no, Kanavi, though. Good vault breaker. He cancels the dash. Shadow doesn't want to go in. Harpoon lands up, doesn't flash away, but Jackie Love gets the crit shot through, and they're going to find Hong as the trade back. Shadow not going to land the lane when comes Lightning, gets a flash away from Jackie Love. Deadly Flourish comes back down. This chaotic early game has more in store as Kanavi flashes after on and finally cuts down the Spider's legs.
It is 3 minutes. We have 7 kills.
Shadow's on a ward, though, but it's Kanavi on the top side looking for a gank into Bin. This is a great timer to go for because there's no Death Realm for Bin to lean on. Instead,
he's looking for 6.
Has to eat the damage. He's trying to get 6. He's going to pull it off, right off onto 369, but he didn't have enough health in the tank.
Getting a lane swap. No flash on Bin. This is tough. Goodbye, 369. You have to flash.
I hope you enjoyed your kill, man, because you're going to pay it back twofold. Oh, the flash body slam, a desperate play, but 369. It's just massive to see both of these.
It's 10 kills at 6.5 minutes.
I'm like struggling to take stock of this. I'm trying to catch up on some of these items. Who's so far accelerated? And it's hilarious that our 2 junglers are even in gold, but they hold 5 of the 10 kills, half of those kills. Why is Bin bottom lane? What is happening?
Because he has nothing. He's homeless top lane. There's nothing for him to grab up there.
All right, I guess we're diving. Explosive cast comes across. Stan's going to land, though, on. Has to repel out of turret. Aggro. Shadow to take it next as Elk picks up the kill to 369. But he's got serious experience for doing so. He's allowed for TES to go for these grubs. They've got Knight on a reset and Shadow clearing camps. So like TES have done through a lot of early games, Ulk, Kanavi has made it a point to always prioritize these grubs in this series.
It has been BLG who have been getting, I think, the better.
Such a huge goal lead up against Kanavi, but it's again the bottom lane where we go to, where all the fighting is happening, but that wasn't much of a fight coming across. Tested how well BLG can keep this TES first comp at arm's distance. He's going to flash over the Deadly Flourish, trying to get the most out of this Demonic Ascension. Hog is the easy first target, going to pick that kill up. Jackie Love has to flash away from Knight. His Bin TP's in and drags 369 into his arena of doom. 369 trying to use the turret, but these isolated Qs do so much, and the flash is too late. On finds the kill. They can't even pick off Knight right now. TES is scrambling, and Shadow senses the weakness, dashing after them. It's Cream that has to use the Spirit Rush. Flash Cocoon, but a great dodge comes out from Kanavi. That surely would have been another kill for BLG, but instead, TES only end up losing 2 members.
Oh my god,
as they look for another
Cream!
trap. It's the trap as Cream dashes into it, and Kanavi throws himself to the walls. The kills come across. Death from below gets one back for Hog. Candy gets the resets. Yes, finds himself a second. Jackie Love can't get close enough, and Shadow dashing on top of him. But Jackie Love heals just enough to get back under turret. 18 kills in 13 minutes of game 5.
As the shot clock runs up. So Knight has to be really, really careful about when and where he pulls his shot, because yes, he has Demonic Ascension, and he has this Rylai's, which I think is going to be massive for this game. But I think that BLG spike really hard on 2 and 3. They will be much stronger if they can stall.
Watch for Elk to utilize these traps best to shut down lanes to get in here. Trap stepped on. Elk going to drop some damage. That's Hong that eats it. Teleport comes across from Knight. This should force TES to back out. This Rift Herald is not theirs to contend with, and it's not worth flipping the series over, and they understand that assignment. And the Herald goes over to BLG. Look at BLG get back into control to find this mid wave. They're going to take the long way around.
Top Esports can't even contest for this, though. Like, they're so late. I think Elise gets even more value with all of these Spiderlings.
Oh, they get a pull back. It's Cream again that gets caught. Forcing ceases sound of Kanavi, but a good repel. Kanavi is caught up creek with no paddle, and it's Elk to find that kill once more. 369's teleport, too little, too late. The explosive cast can set up Cream to find this kill tonight. Yes, finally they change some damage together. Great charm forces the cleanse out of Elk as well. Current Call not going to find these shots, but Elk bends the ace in the hole right around Jackie Love, and down falls 369. Out of nowhere on, by the way, in the Herald, setting up the knockup onto Hong, and he sends him back to the Great Scheme with a death from below. Bid flashes after Hong, completely whiffs, and all bets are off still in this game 5.
Oh my god, they tried to use the Herald because they wanted to catch.
How can you find a way in, Kanavi? You've been an MVP-like player this entire series, but they're asking more of you, Kanavi. How can you find a way to shut down this soul? The traps just aren't letting them in. Kanavi, does he have the Vault Breaker to steal it? No, it's Shadow to secure it. Kanavi immediately has to flash back the way he came, but Shadow is hungry. They subbed him in for a reason, to bring him in to end this series, and he's chased Cream in between their 2 turrets. He's eating turret shots like candy, but you can't chomp down on that crit shot. Kanavi will spawn maybe before this Octagon dies. And he's going to have to watch as it goes away. Hong does not have Spellbook. There's no room for a steal. Shadow will secure it cleanly. Octagon, XP gains exponentially.
Getting better for themselves, so let's play around mid, set up early.
He sniffs out the Death Brush. They do get to catch on to Knight. He has to pop the Demonic Ascension, but again, the Swain just heals and shields through all this pain. Kanavi has no friends left to follow that play. And Knight finds himself his 6th kill of the game. Cream dashing back out to safety. TES, they go for the Desperation Death Brush, and even that won't find anything.
Well, if we said game 4 they don't have enough damage, and this composition is basically all but damage, or everything including damage, what happens when you have none of it? When you're a team comp that is completely predicated on bursting out targets, on one-shotting them, on executing. Can they get into the pit? Ari's on the flank right now. Hong flies in. This
Kanavi,
is tough.
Do you have a Miracle Steal? He's going to flash. They land up the charm. Elk's going to cleanse it. Gets himself out. Hog's popped. Chemtech Soul Drake is down. The Desperation Heave from TES roots 1 kill back. But that's not enough to stop the freight train that is BLG. Chemtech Soul at 25 minutes.
1 for 3, and it looks like they're making their way over to the Baron. I don't know. Makes it even tougher, right? Like, you're supposed to execute them.
Oh, hold on. It's again a Desperation Heap coming across, and it's Kanavi. He's just trying to make up for a mountain of a deficit. And with him down, you called it all. That's it. Being sayonara to this Baron next.
Man, what a year for BLG. They started off not even ending in top 2. They go to MSI after what was a run in the upper bracket. Lose to AL, go and end top 4 at the midseason invitational. Split 3, they start undefeated for 8 series in a row. Finish 3rd after an IG...
Beat the demons that haunted them for the majority of this year. Looks like they're going to come up short once again. Unless a miracle flies in the
Oh my
heavens
God.
for top esports. All that's flying through right now, disgusting amount of damage from Elk, as he will take down the mid-tier 2 and the siege is on.
This series should have been over already. Remember, game one, we started with a massive lead from Top Esports, and they were knocking on the doors of BLG's base. When Top Esports threw, this could have been a 3-1 series in favor of TES, but too many mistakes, too many inconsistencies from the mid-jungle here. And I have to call it out, Cream had a large responsibility. Obviously, this game was incredibly messy, but Knight having a massive bounce back in the series, going from 0 to hero here, now on this Swain. I have no other words here. Hong trying to do a little bit of a sneaky stealth mission behind the enemy lines.
Okay, Elk doesn't have flash, does have the cleanse. Hong, he can't commit to it. He knows too many members are there to cover, and the siege shifts back towards mid lane with a fresh wave for Knight. TS's base broken open, inhibitor exposed.
3 items here for Jackie Love. It is a single Infinity Edge there for crit chance alongside that RFC. You can also see that Elk, Collector, RFC, Infinity Edge, so much lethality, so much extra damage compared to his counterpart. Who's wave clearing on this roster? Kind of feels like it has to be Cream in situation. You can also use Charm alongside alongside the hook from this Pike to pull those super minions forward, especially with these Baron buffs. A little bit trickier for this team to deal with. Even getting caged inside their base, thanks to these Caitlyn traps. Teleport flank set up by Hong. This has to be the fight here for Top Esports.
The last-ditch effort for TES. It's Shadow to start things off. Kanavi gets drowned into the Death Realm, and Bin wins that one 100 times out of 100. General Kanavi down, 369, waddling around, desperately behind it, maybe trying to collect the wave to stall this out. BLG, they're going to go after 369. Flash from on. He doesn't land the cocoon, but he gets 369 away from the wave. Super minions crashing into the Nexus turrets. 5 versus 4. Make it 5 versus 3. Elk just one-shot Hong off the screen and back to the Gray Realm for the last time tonight. Shadow looking for the engage. Jackie Love crit shot. Cream to go down next. Jungle carousels. Disappointing split playoff finishes. None of that matters now. All that matters, BLG, Bilibili Gaming, your first LPL team to Worlds 2025.
And coming off of the back of an incredible performance in the later stages of this game, Shadow stepping up for the team. It took 3 games. We even saw a 4th game. He pulls out the Maokai. They get that game victory. They go to game 5. They bring in the Xin Zhao that has been waiting all series to come off the bench. Shadow Man, Beichuan, it doesn't matter who's in this jungle position here. BLG are our first representatives from the LPL to go to Worlds